Hi, and welcome to Taxback.com's review of the 2014 budget as introduced by Ministers Noonan and Howland today, the 15th of October. As has been widely reported, the intention behind this year's budget was to achieve a deficit reduction in the amount of 2.5 billion through a combination of both spending cuts and tax increases. I think if there is any good news today really for taxpayers, it's that no news is good news. As many of the measures introduced today were flagged well in advance by the various media outlets, and there were very few unexpected items which are going to impact on taxpayers. For most PAYE and self-assessed taxpayers, they're not going to notice much reduction in their net pay as a result of the items brought in today. In respect of income tax, the good news came in the form of no change, as the current position for 2013 was retained going forward. There was no increase in the income tax rates, there was no narrowing of the income tax bands, and no reduction to either the personal or PAYE income tax credit. Similarly, for the USC, the Universal Social Charge, there was also no change to the credits and bans, and the position for 2013 has remained in place for 2014. Moving to PRSI, and again the good news was that there was no change to the current PRSI regime and no changes announced this year. But what must be remembered is that a raft of changes were announced last year which are only going to come into force on the 1st of January 2014. The PRSI charge of 4% has been extended to previously excluded income sources such as, for example, interest, dividends and rent. So the extension of the PRSI, which was announced last year, will be coming into effect shortly, and that will be a change that will be noticed by taxpayers with these previously excluded sources of income. Similarly, for local property tax, there were no new changes to the legislation or no new measures announced or no adjustments made. But what, again, people will have to bear in mind is that in 2013, the local property tax was only introduced with an effective date of the 1st of July 2013, and so therefore a half-year charge applied. So for 2014, it will be a full year charge, so people will note that the amount of local property tax that they have to pay will be double in 2014 what they paid last year. If we consider two of the headline items in social welfare, there is also some good news in that there is no change to the current position. There is no reduction in child benefit, and similarly there is no cuts to the social welfare primary payments such as the job seekers benefit and also the state pension. Where there have been changes is in respect of the prescription charge for medical card holders, which is up from a minimum of €1.50 to €2.50. And similarly, there has also been a change with the announcement of the replacement of the one-parent tax credit with a single-person child carer credit. The amount in 2014 will remain the same, but the difference is that whereas both parents may have been eligible to claim this credit last year, in 2014 only the primary carer will be eligible for this credit. For capital taxes, there has been a major increase in the rate of DIRT, which has gone from 33% in 2013 to 41% in 2014. And if you consider the effect of the introduction of the extension to PRSI, this means that you will now have an effective rate of 45% of DIRT on people's savings. There is some measure of relief in that there has been no reduction in the capital acquisitions tax thresholds, and similarly there has also been no increase in the capital gains tax rate or capital acquisitions tax rate. Excise rates have also increased for a variety of products. The good news is that there's no increase to either petrol or diesel, and the excise rates remain the same. However, there is an increase of 10 cents on a pint, 10 cents on a spirit measure, an additional 50 cents onto a bottle of wine, a measure which is probably going to introduce in the region of 45 to 50 million next year, and also 10 cents on a packet of 20 cigarettes. As always, to get a very clear picture on how these changes will affect you, you can log on to our website, taxback.com, and click on the 2014 budget calculator. If you just input a few key details, you'll get an immediate result in how these changes introduced in Budget 2014 will affect you. Some of the items which will affect this calculation are the doubling of the local property tax, the increase in dirt that we referred to earlier, and also the reduction in the rental tax credit, which is being reduced every year and which will be finally abolished in 2017. So in order to calculate if you might be due a tax refund, if you log on to our website, you can claim a tax refund if you are entitled to one going back 4 years. So log on to the website, provide us with your contact details, and we can give you a free estimation of any tax refund you may be due for this period.